Welcome back to the Crypto Simulation. Our channel is focused on using market psychology, technical analysis, and fundamental analysis to help you make the best decisions possible in crypto. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Dogecoin Ordinals, also known as Doginals, and I'm going to teach you a little bit about the history of Ordinals, which goes back to Bitcoin. And if you're wondering what you're seeing on the screen here, this is one of the first really amazing Ordinals that was inscribed, or one of the most amazing NFTs that was inscribed on Dogecoin Ordinals. And you may not have even known this. So the video game Doom actually have the first 9 levels available, which doesn't actually violate copyright. So that's actually pretty cool. Just a reminder that nothing that I tell you on this channel is intended to be financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Anything that I do tell you about anything really is be considered entertainment. Always do your own research. Also, don't forget to subscribe to me and hit that like, comment, notification bell. Share this content with everybody you know. And please join me in my free Telegram channel, The Snake Pit. More information on that in the video description below. Casey Rodarmer is the man that is responsible with discovering and developing the Bitcoin ordinal system, which Dogecoin, Litecoin, and some other chains have adopted in response to his developments. And he basically found an exploit in the Bitcoin code that dates all the way back to the inception of Bitcoin. And I'm going to kind of go over that with you when we look through his GitHub. I'm not going to get too much into detail because that's not really what this video is about. But I just want to tell you a few things we're going to do in this video. So we're going to talk about the history of ordinals. Then we're going to talk about Dogecoin ordinals. I'm going to teach you how to buy Dogecoin ordinals, or Doginals as they're called, and then talk about a specific collection, and then a little bit about Dogechain to wrap things up. So I hope that you find this video to be deeply educational. I won't be doing any chart analysis in this one. This one will be strictly for information purposes only. So as this article explains, the idea of bringing NFTs or non-fungible tokens to Bitcoin is not new. In 2012, there were colored coins, which were aimed at representing all types of non-Bitcoin assets on Bitcoin. Then Counterparty in 2014 was actually built as a derivative of Bitcoin and allowed for buying and selling digital assets powered by the XCP token. This is like getting way back, in Bitcoin's history. And counterparties were rare Pepes, NFTs inspired by the Pepe the Frog meme. Those were born in 2016. And this is all before the NFTs that you see on the Ethereum network today. So there's just a little bit of history. The Ordinals NFTs and Inscriptions, these were made possible by a very simple code called the Ordinal Protocol, developed by Casey Rodarmer. Casey leads up a group called SF Bitcoin Devs, and he has some previous work experience as at Google that he's brought with him into the crypto space. And these are called Socratic seminars, and they happen about once a month, and you can kind of click through any of these to see what they talk about in here. So this really gets deep into some basically innovative ideas with Bitcoin, some history, some current news and announcements, things like that. So if you're interested, I will post a link to this in the video description. So this is Casey Rodarmer's blog, and he is one of the most passionate people about Bitcoin and new developments in Bitcoin, just everything that's going on with it in the entire space. And on his blog, he actually outlines the theory for ordinals in a detailed way. And so right here he says that, and this is something he started working on in 2022, but again, the history of DeFi or NFTs on Bitcoin goes back a lot longer. In fact, he claims it goes all the way back to the very first block that was produced, and some of that is described in his white paper on GitHub, or white paper maybe we should call it. So he basically developed a numbering scheme for Satoshis, which are individual units of Bitcoin. So every Bitcoin can be broken down into a certain number of Satoshis, and this allows tracking and transferring of individual sats. And by the way, there are 100 million Satoshis inside of a single Bitcoin. And so with ordinals, the Satoshis themselves are going to be numbered in the order in which they're mined, hence ordinals, and transferred from the transaction inputs to the transaction outputs in a first in, first out order. And I do want to briefly show you the BIP which is the protocol that he used to develop Ordinals on the Bitcoin network. So just a little bit more information right here that I want to go over with you. I like this summary. So there's a block explorer, just like there is for any other crypto asset at ordinals.com. And there's a numbering system that is basically done by number, decimal, degree, or name. NFTs, security tokens, accounts, stablecoins, all this stuff can be attached to Ordinals, bringing DeFi to projects like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, even Litecoin. Ordinals is an open source project, and I'm going to show you the GitHub. And it describes of a protocol that describes the ordinal scheme, an index that communicates with the Bitcoin core node to tell where all the ordinals are located, a wallet that allows for ordinal aware transactions, and a block explorer for interactive exploration of the blockchain, and then the functionality to be able to create and mint ordinal NFTs. And these are usually called inscriptions onto the Bitcoin. Did you know there's such a thing as NFT archaeologists? This is a whole community that came about in the NFT space, and they have a cutoff of sort of like March 19, 2018, which was the day the very first ERC 721 contract, Sue Squares, came out on Ethereum. And I guess they don't necessarily recognize ordinals yet as being part of the archaeology, simply because they've only been around since early 2022. And so they're not really of any historical interest yet. I mean, they haven't even been through a full bear bull cycle. So he claimed right here, this is what I wanted to show you, that ordinals were really created by Satoshi Nakamoto back in 2009 when he mined the very first Bitcoin block, the Bitcoin Genesis block. And so he says, yeah, they should be of historical interest because they've been around a lot longer than people are aware of. And he argues that ordinals were kind of inevitable. They are just part of the natural mathematics of Bitcoin, and therefore they can be extended to many other layer 1 blockchains in the same sense. And he just wants to kind of mention here that this is not really anything new to Bitcoin. Charlie Lee in 2012 posted a proposal to add proof of stake to Bitcoin. This is like several years before Ethereum was even developed. And the Bitcoin community was very much against these sort of things. And there's still a large segment of them that are and feel that ordinals are just going to be a fad that kind of comes and goes. But I'll tell you, I don't think so. I think ordinals are here to stay. And they definitely increase the transaction fees for the network. But he views it kind of as a good thing. He thinks that that's something that needed to happen anyways, as miners need some kind of incentive to keep mining Bitcoin as the rewards start to go down. Casey has some pretty strong Bitcoin maximalist views, and I just want to read a quote from his Inscriptions, a guide for the ideological maxi blog post, where he says, "If you ask me my views, they will be nearly indistinguishable from those of, for a lack of a better term, ideological Bitcoin maximalists. I loathe the state, have no particular respect for authority, and believe that Bitcoin is the path away from the debauched debasement of our lives and civilization that fiat currency has wrought. However, I do not consider myself an ideological Bitcoin maximalist, with the primary reason being that ideology often does not survive contact with reality. So I should clarify that Casey is not like a Bitcoin maximalist in the traditional sense that, say, someone like Michael Saylor would be. He's a Bitcoin maximalist more in the ethos and the intentions, the decentralization that Bitcoin brings about. So I guess he separates himself from the ideological Bitcoin maximalist. And so he created this guide for that exact person. So for the person who is basically buying Bitcoin solely as a store of value, and that's all they view it as, and they don't really see it as anything else. So he didn't write this post as like a defense of ordinals, although I'll tell you there are times where it does feel a little bit like that, but more to just promote the inevitability of ordinals and how they can coexist with the store of value and financial sovereignty thesis of Bitcoin. So I want to point out a few of the arguments that he makes against the criticisms for inscriptions and ordinals. And this is directly relevant to Doginals and to any other ordinal system. It all starts here. So this is really the genesis point for all of those ecosystems that are currently in development. One of the things he says that I thought was kind of ingenious was, everything important is just a social convention. Bitcoin is in fact just a social convention. So basically people who are criticizing ordinals, like, well, anyone can right click and save JPEGs, what the heck are these doing on the Bitcoin network? It's not the software or data or the technology that matter, it's the social conventions, the hype, the pumpamentals, if you want to call it that matter. And inscriptions are exactly the same thing. This is the new dressing on Bitcoin that just adds a layer to its rich history. Ordinals are also a step in the right direction by having NFTs stored via on-chain data instead of being able to using off-chain data. And this is actually a more secure and decentralized way to do NFTs. And he says that on-chain data is a vast improvement in trustlessness, which I'm told is highly valued by ideological maxis. So he's got a real beef to pick with the ideological maxis, but he's trying to bring them into the fold by showing that he's a type of Bitcoin maxi. I am going to call him that, but his vision of Bitcoin maximalism is not the ideological one. It's the more realistic one of here's what Bitcoin actually is and here's what it could be. Much more like revolutionary and visionary. Last thing he says is, and I just have to quote this guy. I mean, he's so raw. Attempting to censor inscriptions is exactly identical to attempting to censor all other kinds of transactions. Any machinery you build or public support you muster will immediately lend support to censorship on Bitcoin in general. Fortunately, processing transactions that someone views as illegitimate is exactly the thing Bitcoin was built for. So you'll ultimately fail, but would be better off if you didn't try to convince people that censoring Bitcoin transactions was something they should bother trying. So this is a direct attack on the Bitcoin maximalists, the traditional ones, who want to just keep Bitcoin the way it is. And we see this kind of mentality play out in all facets of society, where there's this resistance to change. But sometimes that change is necessary to take things in a new direction. What's wrong with coloring up the Bitcoin network? What's wrong with incentivizing miners? I think it is important to improve inscriptions and ordinals. You know, they're very experimental right now on Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Litecoin. I even think there's another chain. I can't remember. I don't know if it was OKX or a different one that was also starting to do ordinals. This is something I think that's going to basically blow up in this mania phase. We're going to see ordinals really explode and take off. That's what I think. Let's take a look at the GitHub for ordinals. So a BIP is a Bitcoin improvement proposal on the Bitcoin protocol. So that's what that stands for. And so the ordinals inscription service is considered to be one of those. And this is the GitHub that was created in February of 2022, right at the start of the Bitcoin bear market. And so what this brief document does is pretty much explain what are ordinals and how do they work and how do you number them and what are they good for. So every Satoshi, remember there's 100 million Satoshis in a single Bitcoin. So he takes every set and serial numbers it starting at 0, and that's the order in which it was mined. And these are the numbers that are known as ordinal numbers or ordinals. That gives the order to them. And so these are transferred to output Satoshis in the first in, first out order. I talked about this earlier, basically depending on the size and order of those transactions, inputs and outputs. So this algorithm, which is super short, this code right here, is how the sats are numbered and transferred. So if you understand anything about, this code, you could understand exactly how beautifully simple this really is. Sat points are used to indicate exactly where a sat is located in a particular output, and it looks a little bit like a cross between like a wallet address or a transaction hash. You can see this really long identifier here would tell you exactly where the sat point is if it were offset 6 in the first output of a transaction. This is exactly how you would locate that. Okay, so before I move on past this, I don't want to get too into the weeds, but here's some really good rationale for why ordinals are useful. They're designed to work together with other parts of the Bitcoin protocol without interfering with it. It can be used in conjunction with other layer 1 and layer applications, even if, and this is where, Dogecoin started using them with Doge Labs and Doginals, and once again, Litecoin has also developed their own version. They can be secured using current and future type scripts. They can be held by single signature or multi-signature wallets, time locked, height locked. So there's a security aspect that's available for ordinals as well. even with their publicly displayed information. By assigning ordinal numbers to all the Satoshis without any need for some kind of creation step, this keeps the anonymity of ordinal number users maximized. Since the Satoshi has an output that contains it, and the output has a public key that controls it, the owner can respond to challenges by signing messages using the addresses associated with the controlling UTXO, which stands for unspent transaction output, which is basically the sender has authorized the use of particular set of funds or whatever for the recipient, and so the recipient has permission to then use that. So sats can change hands, which you see happening with NFTs that are inscribed into the blockchain, and so on. So they don't require any great huge modifications, or really any modifications to the Bitcoin network. They don't leave a footprint directly on chain, although it does say here that a valid objection is that adopting ordinals can increase demand for outputs, and that can also basically lead to network congestion. That's a valid point. It can lead to increased transaction fees, as I mentioned earlier. The ordinal numbering scheme, though, like Bitcoin was made for ordinals, according to this guy, right from the Genesis block. It's just 15 easy lines of code, and they're fairly assigned, not pre-mined, or assigned proportionally to the existing Bitcoin holders. So they're as granular as you can get. They go all the way down to the Satoshi, and Bitcoin's not capable of tracking these ownership at sub-Satoshi values, as a Satoshi is the smallest unit of a Bitcoin. Bitcoin's fungibility, right? You can tell we're really early in Inscriptions. This is Ordinals.com, and just a collection of some of the Ordinal NFTs from the Bitcoin network. So I'll be sure to include some of this information in the video description. But yeah, let's move on to Dogecoin. Before we get into Dogecoin, I've been guilty of saying this myself. So it's not true that Dogecoin has an infinite supply. It's only there's a maximum of 5 billion added to the Dogecoin cap annually. So I just want to throw this in here because I did say something about Dogecoin in a previous video that was incorrect. Unfortunately, this is a little bit of FUD about Dogecoin, but Dogecoin is one of the most exciting projects out there. I mean, it's one of the OGs, right, from 2013. And it was intended really, besides being a joke to Bitcoin, which is kind of what it's known as, it was intended to be a retail-based payment system, a decentralized retail-based payment system. And I feel like Dogecoin is kind of coming full circle to that, a good 11 years later. And Inscriptions on Dogecoin Ordinals, is another great addition that mimics what just happened on Bitcoin. So this is the this is Doge Labs, drc/20.org, and I'll put the link to this in my bio. And these are the featured NFTs, and I'm going to be talking about these later. But because these are inscriptions directly onto Dogecoin, we need to understand exactly what that means. Check this out. Doginals have been pretty popular. They've out-inscribed Bitcoin Ordinals, Litecoin Ordinals, Inscriptions, and Bitcoin stamps. So that's kind of a cool stat to start with. This was, of course, current as of August 8th, 2023. I'm not sure where things are at right now. So the very first Doginal standard was pioneered by a developer named ApeZord. And the smallest unit of a Dogecoin is called a sheep. And a Shiba Inu is a type of dog that Dogecoin was modeled after. And this is the first sheepscription right here. A very colorful, it looks like kind of like a monkey or an ape. Yeah, some kind of ape. So the inaugural DRC20 token, Doji, has a supply cap of 21 million to kind of echo the supply cap of Bitcoin. I actually bought Doji. It's one of the very few altcoins that I own. I bought it when it first came out, and I've lost probably almost 50% of the value, but I'm holding on to this because this is that was a historical moment being able to buy this, and I'll show you where I got it from. So Doge Labs came into the fold to take over the challenges and issues with the DRC20 and develop a standard. And so this is kind of where we're at now. Doge Labs manages this website. They manage the NFT inscriptions and other kinds of inscriptions onto Dogecoin. What advantages do Doginals have over Ordinals? Well, first of all, they're much cheaper and faster. Remember I told you that Ordinals on Bitcoin can get quite expensive. because of the demand on a network that has fewer. You think that with Bitcoin, it's harder to mine a block. It takes longer, whereas with Dogecoin, blocks are mined a lot quicker. It's a lot cheaper. There's fewer sheaves inside of a Dogecoin than there are Satoshis inside of a Bitcoin. So collectibles on Doge work the same way that collectibles on Bitcoin work, which is they have owners. The ownership can be transferred just like with any other NFT. They're complete. They contain a link to an off-chain host. Simply containing a link to an off-chain hosting service is incomplete. So this is on-chain. They're permissionless, and we mentioned that earlier with Bitcoin ordinals. No royalties, no rules regarding transferability, and no on-chain taxes, which is different than traditional NFTs, which do have royalties, transferability restrictions. So in a way, they're a little bit more decentralized, uncensorable. Add that to that as well. Remember the game Doom, not Doom. I have such a bad memory. The game, yeah, the Doom. Is that what I said? I think I said Doom. The game Doom was put onto Dogecoin. And any art that is put onto the blockchain is immutable, can't be changed, and basically, any data that's attached to the upgrade keys are immutable. And so that would be with other types of NFTs, but not with these. These are immutable. So the DRC20 standard can be found here in the Doginals documents. The idea is you use a deploy function to create a DRC20 token. You can utilize the mint function to generate a specific amount of those, and then use the transfer function to facilitate the transfer of a certain amount of DRC20 tokens. Describe the transfer function to the sender's address. Let the sender subsequently execute the transfer function. Similar to the way a smart contract works when you're moving coins around. It's just this is being done kind of like the way that ordinals are being done on smaller units of Satoshis. This is being done on the smaller units of Dogecoin, which are the sheaves. They also have an indexer, and you can find other information here at the Doge Labs GitHub, and I'll make sure that I link this in the video description. So how do you purchase NFTs on Doginals, or even mint NFTs on Doginals? I'm going to focus on the purchasing here. The instructions I'm going to put in the video description, but let me just kind of walk you through these so you can kind of understand how simple this is to do. So without a wallet designed to handle inscriptions, you wouldn't be able to see or interact with your assets, including your non-fungible tokens, and they could get accidentally spent alongside the rest of your Doge. So if you're on the Chrome browser, you can go to the Doge Labs wallet page on the Google Web Store. So that's where I'm at right now. We're going to go ahead and add this to Chrome by clicking on that button. Okay, once we do that, it's going to be added to our extensions, which we can go up to here, and then just pin it so it becomes visible, and you can see the little sheep right there. And we're going to create new wallet. So we're going to click on Create New Wallet. Then it's going to ask us to create a password, so I'm going to go ahead and create one. Okay. It's also going to take you to a page where it has a secret phrase. I didn't want to show you mine, and you shouldn't show anybody yours. So write that down. It will consist of 12 words in numerical order, and it's important that you write that down somewhere. Maybe write it down 3 or 4 times, put it in 3 or 4 different places in your house, because those are your private keys to your wallet. Losing your password, you could always create a new wallet, but if you lose your private keys and you then get locked out of your wallet, your funds are gone, and there's no way to recover them. So this is what the Doge Labs wallet looks like. Note that this is only available on the computer right now. The Doge Labs is working on a mobile wallet extension that should be available soon. They don't have a release date yet, but I'll keep you notified if one does get released. So I'm just going to show you how easy it is to fund your Doginals wallet and then make a purchase using the wallet. So this right here is your wallet address, okay? And so you just click on that to copy it. And now what we're going to do is go to a centralized exchange to purchase some Dogecoin to fund our wallet. Now I want to buy a certain NFT, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I'm going to make sure that you buy enough Doge to not only purchase the NFT, but to also deal with any transaction fees, gas fees that you need to complete the transaction. So I would, the NFT that I'm going to purchase costs 300 Doge, which is around $26, give or take, depending on the price of Doge. So I'll probably put like maybe 340 Doge or so, 350, something like that into my wallet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to receive Doge here. So I click on receive. This is my wallet address. You can scan it with a QR code or whatever you want to do. Click on that, which I've already done multiple times. We can go back, and now I'm going to go over to Coinbase, which I have open in one of my tabs, and purchase some Dogecoin. So I'm over on Coinbase right now, looking at the Doge USD chart. Dogecoin right now is down to 8.34 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and buy. You have a choice of setting a limit order, a market order. I'm a little bit impatient right now. I'm not really buying a whole bunch of this. So I'm doing a market order, and I'm going to buy, it looks like with $40 I can get 477.5 Doge. So let's go ahead and spend that money. Alright, so I have a total of 504.4 Doge in my account right now, and I'm going to send that to the wallet address that we went over earlier. Alright, so I'm going to send about 504 Dogecoin, or 42 bucks roughly speaking, over to the wallet. I copied the address here. We're going to go preview send. Okay, and we're having a little bit of network slowness here. So it's going to tell me that there's a network fee of about 12 cents. So it's going to take about 6 hours. I've never seen it take that long. Watch, this will be the one time, but and we'll go ahead and click send now, and then we should be off on our merry way. And as you can see here, our send was successful. That didn't take long at all. My Dogecoin are in my Dogelab wallets. We're ready to buy an NFT. So what NFT should I buy? Well, let's go to the Dogelab's website. This is the Dogelab's, actually their Twitter. And if we scroll on down, we can see got some NFT collections, and the featured one on their page right now are the free range cucks. This is a brand new NFT collection that was actually designed by my wife. And I'm really excited about this, and especially to see it featured on their website like this. But for good reason. So this is just minting now. I mean, this is brand new. So this is the website of the free range cucks. This is all hand-drawn art. Everything here is completely drawn by hand. And you can see the slogan is, "We don't give a cuck, but you can own one with magic doggy coins." So this is an NFT collection. You know, one of the, and so, you know, Dogecoin Ordinals or Doginals is very new. And so we're among, you know, the first of several hundred NFTs to be minted on here, NFT collections. And basically this NFT collection is all about having fun. It's all about laughter, joy, entertainment. There's some animations that my wife has done, and there's 500 different NFTs that, again, all hand-drawn, all unique, and currently minted on Doginals. You can see the buy link here, the mint link, Twitter, Instagram. She's also got a Telegram group right here, so be sure to join that. I'll put a link in the video description. There's a lot of cucks in there right now having a great time, and you can actually hear more updates from her about some new exciting plans coming for this collection. So this is something that she intends to expand outward, and that's about all I'll say about it. I'll let her do the rest in her Telegram. But again, this is all about just taking the stress out of the crypto space, because I'm on the investing side of things, and that can get really stressful. But anytime I look at these cucks, and she's even made custom Telegram stickers, again, all hand drawn. Yeah, these are not, none of this was done using generative AI. She drew all these by hands from her imagination. And it was just launched today. Well, I guess yesterday now, but it was just launched on the 20th. So people have been very interested in this collection. She had a chance to speak about it on the All Roads Lead to Polygon podcast. So you should grab one of these cucks while you still can. They're really adorable. Okay, so let's go ahead and buy one. Okay, so I just went back to the home page, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says buy. It's going to take me straight to the mint pad, and as soon as this loads, I should be able to buy my first free range cuck. So look at that right there. This just started minting not that long ago. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my wallet. This is my Doge Labs wallet. It's going to connect. Okay, just click on connect. Okay. And you can see my balance over here of 503.04 Doge. And so I'm going to go down to the mint pad, and I'm going to mint an NFT. It's going to bring up my Doge Labs wallet. It's going to tell me exactly how much I need to spend. This is the input where I'm going to sign, and these are the outputs. And so I'm going to receive a free range cuck, and this is the Ordinals inscription. So I'm going to sign and send. It checks it off, says thank you. You will receive your free range cucks NFTs in your wallet within 48 hours of the mint ending. So we do have to wait for the mint to end before I receive my cuck. But if you look at my account, sorry, let me pull up my wallet. That's what I meant to do. You're syncing because I just did a purchase, but the NFTs are not going to show up right away. It is going to take some time, but they'll be over here under this. You just click on this tab, and it's that easy. And people think this is difficult, but it's not difficult. It's super, super easy. It's fun. Check out the other NFTs that are there, and let's go back to the marketplace. You can see there's so many different NFTs available. The Doginals dogs. Those are one of the most OG ones on here. And just keep clicking down on here. And while I'm at it though, I also wanted to, let's go back to drc20.org. You can see some of these other collections that are coming out soon. These are DRC20 tokens. And I actually have bought DRC20 tokens before. I'm going to show you real quick where I did that. Now, if you're wondering how I bought my Doginals, I actually used this website called Doggy.market. That's what this is called. I'll put a link in the video description. And this is where I bought my Doginals. And actually, you have a wallet you can set up here to buy them. You just scroll down, you can see all the different coins that are available. These are DRC20 coins. Okay. And the one that I bought is Dogi, D-O-G-I. So how do we find Dogi? Well, I just type it in. Press enter, and you can see this has a total supply of 21 million, and this was the very first DRC20 coin minted on Doginals network. So I'm at quite a loss right now with this one. I bought it at like close to $3 a Doji, but in the grand scheme of things, it only has a $37 million market cap. So imagine how big this could get during a mania phase. Not financial advice at all. These have to be bought OTC or over the counter. It kind of reminds me of what it might have been like to buy Bitcoin back in the early days. So this is a fun hold for me. I'll be quite honest with you. It's a tiny, tiny percentage of my portfolio. It's barely even on the map because I wasn't about to spend a whole boatload of money on something this experimental. But it's a fun one to hold, and I'll be holding it all cycle. Oh, I just realized I was at the landing page for NFTs. I was kind of wondering where the rest of the stuff was. So yeah, these are the NFTs. But let's go to the actual Doggy Market page. So my apologies, I was getting a little confused. Here we go. So this is what I wanted to show you. So these are NFTs down here too. Not sure what's going on. Usually you would see, oh, here they are. Here's a DRC20 token. So yeah, you want to go to doggy.market. I wanted to show you these. These are Doge maps, and if you think back to maybe the name of the coin is slipping my mind right now, but it was basically land you could buy in the metaverse, very fundamental land. They had the sandbox last cycle, and you also had, what was it called? It was Decentraland. That's what it was. So this is kind of a similar concept. You're buying plots of land in the Doge Maps metaverse, if that interests you. I'm only interested personally on this site. I'm only interested in Doginals. That interests me, and I'm going to hold on to these, like I said, for a long time. And I'm one of those less than 10,000 holders. You got to admit, Doge Maps is pretty cute though. This is the Doge Maps Twitter page, and this is a community-powered metaverse. So this is actually going to turn into something really cool. I'm not personally involved in it, but yeah, it should be something really neat. I mean, everything that Dogecoin does and Doge Labs does is just awesome. And I also wanted to give a shout out to an NFT collection that's on Doge Chain, not on Doginals. And I plan to do a separate video on Doge Chain some other time. These are the drugged huskies. Hilarious, right? I'll put a link in the video description. They're actually OGs to Doge Chain. And they did a collaboration actually with the Free Range Cucks that ran yesterday, and pretty awesome, yeah, to collaborate with them. And again, you check out the Telegram link I'll put a Telegram link for the Free Range Cucks and also for the Drugs Huskies. Check them both out. Buy both of their NFTs. Why not? So that's about it. Very comprehensive overview of ordinals. You know what they are, you know where they came from, you understand how they relate to layer 1 blockchains, you understand how ordinals were developed on Dogecoin and how they are more efficient, more fun, and more transparent in some ways than the ordinals developed on Bitcoin. Of course, that's up to debate, but that's what I think. And you had a chance to see my wife's debut NFT collection, all hand-drawn, the free-range cucks. So be sure to check that out too and get in on the action. It's funny, man. It's just, if you think of shows like Bob's Burgers, or you think of shows like Archer, Family Guy, it's kind of created in that sort of spirit. And she's working on little mini cartoons she's going to put on her TikTok. I think those are going to be a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun. I work on it with her, but she's the artist. I can't draw to save my life, but I've helped her out with some of the ideas. And we've just had a really fun time collaborating on this project together. It's what makes crypto fun. Crypto is so boring sometimes, right? You're staring at charts and thinking about technicals. You want to do something a little different with crypto, and I believe that NFTs like this collection, like the Drugged Huskies, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, the CryptoPunks, these come to mind as just, these are some fun projects. I got involved with an NFT project last cycle in 2021 on Solana. That was also a lot of fun. So, what is crypto all about in the end, besides making money? That's not just making money as fun, but it's about community. That's why I'm a member of the Nova DAO. It's about community. And I think that what Toria Warrior Princess is forming over at her Telegram group with the Free Range Cucks, which is already growing. I think it's over 60 members in just like a day practically. So that's really incredible. And her Twitter has also been kind of blowing up today as well, and yesterday. So be sure to check that out. Anyways, thanks for jumping back into the crypto simulation with me. And I hope that you had a great time learning about all this stuff. Be sure to follow me on YouTube. Click on the like button, subscribe, comment, put on your notifications. It's really a great way to help spread these videos that I spent a lot of time making to the rest of the crypto simulation. And while you're at it, jump into my Telegram group. I've got a free Telegram group with over 100 members in it, and I've only been doing these YouTube videos for about 2 weeks. Okay, so not that long, but we've had quite the momentum going, and a lot of people coming in there and having a great time. We've got Owen Hayes, who is a lead Dogecoin developer, who actually helped develop Dogecoin. He's in my group. We've got some really cool people from other groups as well, and just a lot of alpha there. So come join us at the Snake Pit, and I hope you have a great day or evening wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Bye.